So guys, I'm gonna be real with you here. I think Notorious and Jam kind of got shafted in this event. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted them as a main event because I felt like that fight was main event worthy. Both those guys deserve recognition as a top 3 middleweight. And one of them could be the best middleweight. We don't know that for sure because they haven't fought Ozzy yet. But that feels like a main event fight because I feel like it's the most consequential fight out of the 3 title fights that's going to be on there. I mean, Cruiser and Jakub obviously determines who the best of all time is, but that's basically finality at that point. That is the fight that's going to shape both their careers. After all the trials and tribulation, you go and you get into this super fight, probably nothing will ever top you again. Unless, Bugatti goes on and, defends his title 15 times. But this fight has more significance because it basically determines who gets to the next level. Does it make a conversation for one of the two? Or does it set up a trilogy? I think no matter how Notorious wins, I think the trilogy will happen. That's why there's a lot of pressure on him. And if Jam wins, he gets to fight the unification bout. I think that has a lot of significance. And I'm not saying that the 2 title fights that come after it shouldn't be above it. I'm just saying that you didn't really need 3 title fights. Technically, I was right when I said there are 3 potential fights. I basically named the 3 fights, and all 3 are on there. The point is, though, I feel like I know exactly what Raimondo's trying to set up. He's trying to set up the biggest pay-per-view of all time. He's going to get the super pay-per-view, RBC 15. It's going to be humongous. The biggest fight. This already feels like that. I feel like RBC 14 is never going to be topped anymore. I mean, I'm going to get into that conversation later when we find what the 5th fight is. But, I mean, you're talking... This is a very, very, very stacked card. And you've already have your 3 title fights. Your 3 mega super fights. You got your biggest fight of all time. You've got your baddest man on the planet heavyweight technical bout you've all wanted. And now you have... And there's going to be a Gloves Are Off episode on Friday, which I'm going to go over. On Saturday, most likely. And now you got your rivalry. That's going to shape... That's going to set the tone for the 3 title fights. However... Even though it's just for 1 belt, I feel like that should be a main event. I feel like it's a disrespect to Jam Jones considering how great he's been as a champion. I feel like it's a disrespect to Notorious Jones Jr. how he's trying to get back up to a certain level, and you just have him as not even a co-main event. Guys, that's the sequel to a Fight of the Year candidate right there. I'm not criticizing Raimundo for it. I understand where he's going for, but I wish that was the main event. I wish that'd be the main event in one of the biggest venues in the world in Yankee Stadium. They deserve it. Now, of course, I'm not gonna say Raimundo's wrong for even booking the fight in this time. I think it's the perfect time to book this fight. It's about time we saw them fight. But I think you could have booked the other 2 fights maybe a little later. Not the Cruiser or Jakub fight. I think that had to happen right now. But at least a co-main event spot for Notorious and Jam. They deserve it. But now they pretty much open the title fight picture. Okay, now let's get over the fight in general. I've been through this fight before. I've talked about this fight before. It's probably the closest title fight on that card. Why do I say that? Well, Bugatti and Gabriel, all 3 title fights are basically, what the hell is going to happen? I don't know what's happening with Cruiser and Jakub, and I don't know what the hell's happening with with Bugatti and Gabriel Maldonado. However, I know what both guys bring in the middleweight title fight. I just can't give you a prediction because so much has changed since they've won the fight. But now they've already established what they can do in the new tools, what they have been doing. I mean, Jam has shown himself to be a great champion, and Notorious has worked his way up, fighting 3 very unique fights that have shown us very different things. Knockout power, able to go the distance, and to dig deep and keep that power through many rounds. Now you get Jam Jones, who has defended his title twice, and who has ruthlessly just dominated both guys. Made some slight adjustments there and there, but he's been there. He's done that. And now it gets to the point where this is it. This is the fight that determines who fights Ozzy Divine. Unless Notorious wins close. Stylistically, this fight's amazing. I feel like Jam Jones does not go... He waits. He waits for you to get tired, in my opinion. That's why I think he gets knockouts a lot. Jam Jones waits for the fourth round to really pick it up. I've seen in the first fight they had, it was about the third or fourth round where he started to pick it up, where he found openings, where he said he basically reads opponents. Notorious said that's complete bullshit, and I'll take his word for it. But based on what I've seen, he's able to adjust very well. Now, Notorious on the other hand, the dude has a style of pressure that is very, very unique. He throws the jab with consistency. And that jab is his best weapon. And you've seen it for the guys he's trained, the people he's influenced. More people are using that jab with more frequency because of him. You can say that he's impacted the sport on a positive level. Now let's talk about the beef here. There really shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I think the big thing that has drawn people to this fight was that Jam had to pull out, and for good reason. But I feel like Notorious is driving the argument, which is what I'm waiting to see with gloves are off, how Jam is going to respond. Because when I first offered them to come on together, Notorious said, "This dude can't handle me." I think Notorious might be one of the better trash talkers in the game. He can get into fighters' heads, and he's shown that time and time again. And that's something we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's that big of a deal, because I know both guys respect each other. I know both guys know what they bring to the table. I'm just saying there's a factor playing into that. Now, as of who's going to win the fight, I'll tell you on Saturday. However, I think both guys have legitimate case. This fight's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be any domination on either side because both guys have been very, very good. All I can tell you is I think the crowd is moving towards NJJ. I think the fans are saying, look, NJJ has shown in his past 3 fights really what he can do. I mean, the dude has so much confidence. He has all the momentum in the world. He's now a champion. And he's going to have a chip on his shoulder to beat Jam Jones. He said he made mistakes in the first fight. This is what fans are thinking. I can't tell you what I'm going to predict, but I'm just saying that's where the hype is. It's got a lot of pressure on Notorious Jones Jr. He's probably going to be at least a 2-1 favorite. So guys, I need to ask you, do you think I'm right? Do you think that the pressure's on Notorious right now? Do you think that you guys believe he is the favorite? And also another one for you. Is this fight going to get overlooked? I think it shouldn't because this is a big deal. But do you think this fight needs more attention? And does it need to be moved higher? It's not going to be, but do you think it deserves to be in a main event or co-main event spot?